Hello, my name is Liam, and this is my first post and video. It's going to be a pretty unrecorded take. I'm just going to talk to camera. But basically, with all these situations with the coronavirus going on right now, and everything that's happening in the world, I think that now is a good time for me to kind of come out and talk about my story and what happened to me last year, and really detail the journey that I've had. And I think that, especially with all the difficult things going on right now in the world, maybe you can take something inspirational, motivational, and learn something from my journey, because recently I've been doing a lot of trying to help a lot of people and reach out and actually impact people, and that's really been helpful for me. And I've also noticed and realized that I have a journey and a story that may be able to help people. So this is my first step in just reaching out to the world and just trying to share my story in any way I can. So my name is Liam. I'm 17 years old. I grew up in London, New Zealand, and Japan, and I've been an athlete my whole life. I've played a lot of sports, and February 18th of 2019 I got this thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome, and it's this disorder that results in paralysis. It's an autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks your nerves in your body, thinking that it's a flu or a virus, and it kind of shuts down your nerves. And as a result of that, I ended up paralyzed. I was in the hospital. I was put on breathing support, and I was told that I may never walk again, I may never fully recover, and I could also have died if I didn't make it to the hospital in time. And so I think this is just me, my first video. I'm just going to talk about what it was like, how I initially got it, and hopefully if you're going through something difficult right now with my journey as well, you'll be able to learn something and grow. And this is just also a way for me to document my recovery and my process from last year. So the first day that I got this was February 18th. And that week I had started getting breathing problems, which didn't really matter much or bother me much. And I was wrestling the whole week. I wrestled at high school, and eventually my breathing was getting harder. I couldn't really find out why, and it was pretty difficult just getting through with that, but I was able to. And the February 18th was a Monday, and I woke up, on a Monday I woke up and I couldn't feel my glutes. They were really numb, and I thought it was sore, which didn't really make sense. But I still went to school, and it's like the feeling you get when you sit down in a chair for way too long, and then you stand up and you can't feel your glutes anymore. And then that day I got an extremely bad migraine. I couldn't see anymore, and then I went home. The next morning I wasn't going to go to school, but when I tried to get out of bed, I stumbled and I fell, and it was really difficult to get to the living room. And there I asked my mom to take me to the hospital. I told her that I couldn't breathe and to cancel my physio appointment that I had scheduled for a shoulder injury. And instead, that night, we went to the doctors, and there they said that I could have minor sciatica, or lower back pain piriformis, that was resulting in a numbness in my legs, as well as allergies, which resulted in my breathing problems. So I got some antihistamines, I went home, painkillers. But then the next day when I woke up, I also fell out of bed, but this time I couldn't lift myself off the ground, and I couldn't really use my arms. And that's when I noticed that it definitely couldn't have been lower back pain, and that's when it got really scary. And I tried to go to the living room, and it was just so difficult, and I couldn't breathe. By the time that I got there, I was out of breath. And coming out of wrestling season all of a sudden into that situation was probably the most terrifying situation I've ever been in, because I realized that my body was kind of shutting down. I couldn't feel my legs, could barely move my arms, and I didn't know why. My mom took me to this hospital, and luckily they had the right diagnosis. And they diagnosed me with Guillain-Barré syndrome, and immediately I was sent to the emergency room at a hospital in Tokyo. And so once I was there, I just went to the ER. They did a spinal tap. They asked me about previous sicknesses in the last few months. They did an EMG, which is where they put wires on your body and they check your muscles' response to electric stimulus. And a spinal tap is they put a needle in your back to tap your spinal fluid, which allows them to see what your antibodies and your immune system is like. So then that night I was diagnosed. They hospitalized me immediately, and at the time I didn't know the severity of the situation and how bad Guillain-Barré syndrome could actually get. And looking back on it now, I wish that I was a little more prepared and I wasn't so naive. But at the time, all I could think about was just, I didn't really think I was that sick, and I thought I'd get better straight away. And that night, the doctor told my parents, he said, his vital organs haven't failed yet. And so tonight he's not going to die. Don't worry about that. And we're going to hospitalize him. I didn't really pay it any attention. But that's what I thought. And initially I was really hopeful, and I thought I'd heal straight away and it wouldn't get worse. But the doctor said that the thing with Guillain-Barré is it just gets worse and worse, and eventually hits a peak, and then you'll get better from there. I didn't really listen to him, and I thought I'd get better, but I didn't at first. And looking back on it, I had no idea the journey that I was about to go through. So this is so that wraps up the first part. And I think just, if you are going through any difficult situation, just keep watching and hopefully you'll learn something, and maybe you can get some inspiration. If you know someone who's going through Guillain-Barré or went through it, contact me. I'm just trying to find out ways to help people, reach out and share my story. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments, DM me, message me. Thank you.